You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. Hazleton police are asking for the public's help identifying a suspect who allegedly fired shots while riding a bicycle last Thursday. Police were called to the area of Hayes and 13th Street shortly after 10 p.m. for a report of shots fired. 2 vehicles were struck, but no injuries were reported. The suspect was last seen riding a 10-speed bicycle, wearing a white bandana on his head and a gray hooded sweatshirt. Anyone with information is being asked to call 911. A Hazleton man faces several drug charges following a routine traffic stop. Sugarloaf Township police pulled over a vehicle being driven by 22-year-old Kyle Plesh for having a broken brake light along Route 93 back on May 24th. Officers discovered he was wanted by authorities in Columbia County for possessing dangerous drugs. Plesh refused consent for police to search the vehicle, so a search warrant was executed, where several ounces of suspected marijuana and 9 THC cartridges were found. Plesh was charged with possession with intent to deliver and possession of drug paraphernalia and a controlled substance. He was arraigned and released on $5,000 unsecured bail. A Hanover Township man's behind bars for allegedly punching a police officer in the face. Wilkes-Barre police encountered 36-year-old Twain Pearson attempting to set off fireworks early Tuesday morning at the Sherman Hills apartment complex. He became confrontational with the officers that were explaining the city's fireworks ordinance to him, allegedly claiming he'd dropped them and that he was trained to kill, before striking and swinging at the other officers. Pearson was charged with aggravated assault, simple assault, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and lighting consumer fireworks in close proximity of an occupied structure. He was taken to Luzerne County Prison for lack of $5,000 bail. State police have released their Memorial Day holiday weekend crash report. Troopers investigated 844 accidents during the 4-day holiday weekend. Crashes throughout the Commonwealth resulted in 8 fatalities and 183 injuries, alcohol being a contributing factor in 63 of those crashes. 596 arrests were made for driving under the influence, and over 9,600 speeding citations were given out over the weekend. These statistics only cover crashes that were investigated by Pennsylvania State Police. The process of hiring the next county manager will begin next week in Luzerne County. Current county manager David Pedri will resign effective July 6th to become the executive director for the nonprofit Luzerne Foundation. County council's in charge of hiring the county manager, who serves at the head of the administrative branch of the county's home rule government. As for the process, a search committee made up of citizen volunteers will be appointed to interview applicants for the position and recommend finalists to council. Council would then conduct their own interviews and vote on who to select to serve as the county's next chief executive. Meanwhile, council will appoint an interim manager to serve after Pedri leaves until a full manager is appointed. Penn State took their biggest step in nearly 15 months to reverse the university's COVID restrictions. The jump into June signaled the return of in-person recruiting and campus visits across the country. The Nittany Lions also announced that Beaver Stadium will be open this fall at full capacity. The NCAA lifted recruiting restrictions that have been in place since the pandemic shut down sports in March of 2020. So, all Penn State sports and regular routines at football games will be returning to pre-pandemic patterns for the 2021-22 school year. Fans will not be required to be vaccinated to attend games, but the university continues to encourage all of those who are able to get vaccinated to protect the health of others. Pennsylvania's Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman defied a state law Tuesday to show support for the LGBTQ+ community. Fetterman marked the start of Pride Month yesterday by flying pride flags from the balcony of his office in the Pennsylvania State Capitol. However, in 2020, the state legislature included a provision in its budget legislation banning the display of unauthorized flags at the state capitol building. This included the pro-marijuana legalization and pride and transgender rights flags that the lieutenant governor hangs from his office balcony. Fetterman shared that the flags were already confiscated just hours after hanging the pride flag on June 1st. As of yesterday, prices to generate electricity increased for non-shopping customers across all of Pennsylvania's electric distribution companies. Energy prices are jumping between 2% and 30% for the summer months, depending on the service territory. The Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission encourages consumers to be aware of the pending changes, evaluate their options, and carefully review their electric bills and any supplier contracts to understand the rates they'll be paying. Visit papowerswitch.com for more on competitive offers, as well as tips for using less energy and saving more money. The majority of the world's largest meat processing companies back online after a cyber attack disrupted production around the world. The White House stated that the Brazil-based company JBS notified the U.S. about a ransom demand from a criminal organization likely based out of Russia. The FBI is investigating the incident, and the cybersecurity and infrastructure security agencies offering the company technical support. JBS said the cyber attack affected its North American and Australian operation servers, but not their backups, and that it wasn't aware of any customer, supplier, or employee data being compromised. The USDA estimates this year's beef prices to climb 1% to 2%, poultry as much as 1.5%, and pork 2% to 3%. JBS, the second largest producer of beef, pork, and chicken in the U.S., employs over 150,000 people worldwide. Coming up on WYLN News, wine and beer festivals, they're back. Plus, Wells Fargo going 100% capacity for tonight's NBA playoff basketball matchup. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Gabby and I'm 7 years old. Tomorrow might be 2 inches of rain. Signing out. Bye.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
Did you know that WYLN News provides news updates every weekday afternoon
At 1, 3, and 5 here on TV and on social media?
Did you also know you can watch WYLN News on the go by visiting our website or YouTube page?
Now more than ever,
WYLN is your local news leader.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazelton. Who says you can't buy a pre-owned car? We have 2019 Trax, we have a Honda CR-V, we have a 2019 Dodge Journey, we've got another Trax, we've got GMCs, we've got a huge selection of pre-owned cars. We have them all the way down there, we have them all the way up there. You want used trucks? How about a 2019 Blacked Out Edition Silverado? Guys, if you're in the market for a car, we've got them all. Come on down to Blaze Alexander and see this huge selection of used cars at 508 Susquehanna Boulevard in Hazelton.
Valentine's Day may have been more than 3 months ago, but love will be in the air this weekend at the Cathedral of St. Peter. Bishop Joseph Bambera and the Diocese of Scranton will celebrate its annual Wedding Anniversary Mass this coming Sunday, June 6th at 2:30 p.m. The Mass will recognize married couples celebrating their silver 25th and golden 50th anniversaries. Married couples celebrating milestone anniversaries are also invited to submit photos and words of wisdom they've gained through their married life together. All pre-registered couples can attend in person, but CTV will also broadcast the Mass live and provide a live stream on the Diocese of Scranton website and social media platforms. Another popular Hazleton area festival is making a comeback after a year of disappointing pandemic postponements. The Hazleton Rotary Wine and Beer Festival is set for Saturday, August 28th at Cityview Park on South Poplar Street from noon until 8 p.m. Attendees will have the chance to sample over 50 local wines and craft beers. The fest will also feature local food and craft vendors, as well as music by Ostrich Hat and Cartoon. Tickets are $20 in advance and $25 at the door. Designated drivers and people ages 13 to 20 pay just $5 to get in, but you, of course, must be 21 to drink. Tickets are available at hazletonrotary.ticketleap.com, and all proceeds will benefit Hazleton Rotary Club service projects. Hopefully the weather holds up, because our WYLN Sports crew is proud to present you live local Little League baseball. Buy those peanuts and Cracker Jacks for our live game of the week tomorrow night, June 3rd, as Jimmy's Quick Lunch takes on E&B Construction. Tune in Thursday night at 6 for all the live local action right here on WYLN TV, your home for live local sports. The game will also rebroadcast on Saturday at noon. WYLN's all-time OT hero Marty Burns has the in-depth analysis of what's happening on and off-season across our viewing area. So, let's talk sports.
Tonight is Game 5 of the first round series between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Washington Wizards. And tonight, for the first time in a long time, the Wells Fargo Center will be at 100% capacity. But with what's been going on in the NBA playoffs, we hope that all the fans are on their best behavior, because all they do is make some of these idiots make some of the good fans look bad. And it's starting to take a toll on the players, taking a toll on the association itself. And we just hope that once we get all these arenas back to 100% capacity, we get people to act and just cheer and boo and support their teams in every way possible, but not get themselves involved by throwing bottles at players, running onto the court, spitting on players, so on and so forth. Just keep it within yourself, show your support, but don't interfere in the game of play, because eventually, one of these times, if you throw something, you could get a player hurt, or more importantly, if your aim isn't good enough, you could get a fellow spectator injured. So we're just hoping that everybody takes it easy, enjoys the games, whatever sport it may be, because 100% capacity is slowly coming back as we get ourselves away from this pandemic. So ultimately, fans, enjoy the sport, have a great time, and let's get all the fans back in the seats.
Coming up on Sylvan Dell's News Choice, we're talking colonoscopies at 45 on this Wellness Wednesday in Community and You. Plus, Leading the Way, Part 3. Stay with us.
This Good News Wednesday, we're highlighting the work of Emmanuel Christian school students as they were hard at work Friday, May 21st at the Hayden Center for the Arts in downtown Hazleton to pack meals for children in Haiti who suffer from hunger and malnutrition. The Feed the Need event began as a fundraiser last spring and was hampered by the pandemic, but the school came back in full force to help those less fortunate. Over 100 students from kindergarten to 12th grade participated in the event. Emmanuel Christian has partnered with Feed the Hungry to ensure that 10,000 meals packed by the students students are shipped to Haiti, where they'll be personally picked up by organizers and given to the children who are in urgent need of the food. From all of us here at WYLN, congratulations and great job to all the ICS students for their hard work. That's your Good News Wednesday. Thank you for joining us here on WYLN.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman on WYLN TV 35. Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 9.
Membership opportunities are now available at the Valley Country Club, 79 Country Club Lane in Sugarloaf. Clubhouse upgrades are in progress and will be ready for the spring. Call Frank Radis for details at 570-233-5328.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Chura's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in 610 North Broad Street, West Hazelton, 570-454-7229.
What's on TV? Plenty. WYLN TV 35, the best in local programming.
Welcome to Community New here on WYLN. I'm Julia Wiegand, and if you haven't guessed, today is Wellness Wednesday, thanks to our friends over at Lehigh Valley Health Network. Now today we are with surgeon Dr. Joshua Nachumson. First of all, how are you, Josh?
I'm very good. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. So today we are going to be talking about colonoscopies, and we've done segments like this in the past. However, there's a new age. The age has dropped from the typical 50 we were always hearing about to 45. What's changed?
Well, what's happened is there's a variety of task forces in this country that determine when the optimal age of screening for a variety of cancers would be. And for colon cancer, that magic number, as you suggested, was traditionally 50 years of age. That's when it made sense to start screening for this cancer, because the vast majority of people who would contract colon cancer happen to be over 50 years of age. What we've been seeing now, somewhat alarmingly over the past 10, 20 years, is that the percentage of individuals with colon cancer who are younger than 50 have been increasing by close to about 1% per year, which has been somewhat alarming. And the reasons for that are not entirely clear. But because of that, there's been some new guidance, and one of the task force in particular, the United States Preventative Services Task Force, just recently lowered the recommended screening age for someone who's an average risk for getting colon cancer from 50 to 45. So that's a big shift. Other task forces in the past, such as the American Cancer Society, have also lowered their guidance from 50 to 45 as well. So the trend is towards that direction. So for someone who's average risk for getting colon cancer, that means someone who doesn't have a strong family history of the disease and doesn't have any symptoms that would be consistent with colon cancer, should now strongly consider getting screened at age 45.
And like you were saying, the 45 age range is almost becoming the new general rule of thumb, like dropping down from 50. Is that 45 for everyone? Or I remember a prior segment we've done before where I think it was African American was at 45 when it was 50, and now that the cases are increasing with the younger age, does any of that change as well?
Yeah, that's a good memory. Yes, African Americans have been known to be at higher risk of developing colon cancer at a younger age. So for a while now, they had been recommended to start getting screened beginning at age 45 as a group. So now this expands the cohort to everyone who's otherwise at average risk. So that incorporates a lot more people.
Now, in terms of getting a colonoscopy, does insurance cover it? How does that all work?
In general, yes, insurance has been mandated in the past to cover screening examinations or preventative examinations. There is frequently a lag, however, between coverage for these examinations when guidelines have suddenly changed. So insurances don't always pick up the bill right away, but one can imagine over time as the 45 age becomes more standardized, insurance would usually come around and would be required to cover some preventative screening services, such as a colonoscopy.
And in the lines of colonoscopies, what's the biggest message that you would like our viewers to take away about colonoscopies in general or colorectal cancer?
Well, again, colorectal cancer is, as we've talked about before in prior segments, is one of the few cancers that we actually have the ability to prevent someone from getting. So it's very tragic when we see people diagnosed with this that could have potentially been prevented. And colonoscopy is probably the best preventative tool for colon cancer because it allows us to look at the entire large intestine, which is synonymous with the colon. And if we find any abnormal growths, we call those polyps, we can usually remove those during the colonoscopy, and those growths over time could potentially turn into cancer. So by removing them before they get to that stage, it allows us to prevent this cancer. Or if nothing else, it's also been shown to allow us to diagnose cancer at a much more early stage when it's much more treatable. So it's multifaceted, the benefits of screening when appropriate.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor, for talking about the new age drop that people should start keeping in mind.
Okay, thanks for having me. Very important topic.
Yes. And thank you, everybody watching out there. Remember, the age has dropped 5 years. Be sure to keep that in mind. If you are the age of 45 and above, the risks are getting higher, and the best way to prevent is early detection. That's it for this Wellness Wednesday in Community and You. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice, everyday low prices, plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
AllCare Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call AllCare Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
WYLN Sports presents Little League Baseball. Watch the game of the week on WYLN TV 35, your home for live local sports. There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information. WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Tony Colombo is leading the way into part 3 of this week's series.
And welcome back to this week's Leading the Way with Tony Colombo. So, for those who may not know, can you explain, you had mentioned that after a while you decided to run for city council, but we're going to learn about city council a little bit. What does a member of the city council, what kind of responsibilities come with that? For those who may not know, I think a lot of people just think of it as like a kind of a congressy kind of situation, but could you explain to us, and specifically maybe the Hazleton City Council?
Council, we're made up of 5 council members and of course the mayor. And what we do, lots of responsibilities we provide, if people call it, there's something that need to be like street paving or different legislation for laws, stop signs, everyday operation in the city. There's lots involved, lots of things. The phone rings constantly that people need something done, and you try to help them. And we work as a team, the 5 of us, there's different, like right now we're working on, of course, tomorrow we're going to break ground for our bus garage on the Airport Beltway. That's a big accomplishment. We're going to break ground and build it. We're going to have our own fueling station and fuel our buses. So that's a step in the right direction. We worked hard with the mayor on dog park, city dog park. Next month there's another big event coming. The mayor was able to get the Pole Climbers Association. It's like a rodeo. Like PPL people come from all over the area. They put a pole in and they have a contest that they actually, like they did years ago, climb the poles. So there's so much that's going on in the city, and I'm very honored to be part of it and continue to move the city forward.
And that process of these changes coming and improving the city, what does that kind of entail for a city council member when you guys see these ordinances and things that are proposed? Do you guys have a meeting together? Do you look at it separately from everybody else? How does that work?
When it does, actually, if there's an ordinance, if I have an ordinance I want to present, what we do is the meeting before it goes on the agenda, we have a work session. And what we do is we sit down in a work session. It's open to the public, of course, and we discuss it. So this way, when the time comes for the agenda, the meeting doesn't last 9 hours. We already know what we're talking about on the work session that goes onto the agenda, and then we work together, and you have your vote, and at the end of the vote, either we see how it happens, and we've been very fortunate. The 5 of us were working as a real team.
All right, folks. Check back tomorrow night as Tony continues leading the way into part 4 of this week's segment. Good night.
That's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or WYLNTV.com, where you can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.